Have you ever had something to say and then suddenly went silent? Have you ever stumbled through a conversation only to think later, that's what I should have said? Do you feel like there's times where the conversation, you're just completely lost in translation? Well, you're not alone, my friend. Get ready to level up your communication skills. My name is Kathy Riley. I am your host and communications expert with over 25 years in litigation and another 15 as an entrepreneurial leader. Our goal here is to share tools, systems, techniques guaranteed to shift the way you connect with others. From mastering the art of a tough conversation to cultivating a mindset that screams confidence, you'll learn how to break those bad habits. And today we're going to cover one of my most favorite topics. And I have to ask you, have you ever had one of those moments where life teaches you something so powerful it sticks with you forever? Well, that was me and my horse BeauJo. My horse BeauJo and I, we were together 22 years. So I was just like 10 when we first first met. But BeauJo taught me that communication is more about presence than words. Let me say that again. Communication is more about presence than words. And it comes with trust, consistency, clarity. It really makes people lean in and listen. Horses can teach you so much. So, one of the very first, very unexpected lessons that I learned from BeauJo was this. Okay, so let me set the stage. So, this was our first year together. Actually, it was our first week together. I purchased him. He was 3 years old. I was a relatively green rider, so that meant I'm a newbie, right? He was young, I was green. We were just going to figure stuff out along the way. I often say launch and adjust, and that's pretty much what I did with BeauJo. So I just brought him home. Okay, it was in the first week, and I was really, really excited because I was working with these trainers who were going to help him and me. They specialized in young horses and green riders. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be awesome. So this is July. Okay, it's July in Denver, and I had just finished working. So I was at the law office all day, right? Go straight from work over to the barn. So this is like dinner time to give you an idea. The sun wasn't setting yet, but it wasn't high, but it was hot. Okay, it was hot and musty, and I had planned to do lessons with him. So I scheduled lessons with the trainer, but this wasn't a lesson day. This was just us bonding. But I was really excited because we were going to have lessons, 3, 4, 5 times a week. We were going to get good. We were going to get good. That was the game plan. So I head into the barn, and we are going to, it was a grooming day, what I call a beauty day, right? It was a spa day for my horse. So we were just going to do some brushing, pick his feet, maybe a bath. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but it was all about bonding. Grooming with your horse is a great way to bond with them. And so he and I, that became one of our love languages, quite honestly, is that every time we'd get together, whenever I'd go to ride, I'd spend at least 30 minutes grooming him, just brushing him down, checking him over top to bottom. So here we are, we're grooming and we're bonding. And I've got all my brushes and stuff, and I'm in this stall, and I'm just working on his hindquarters, his belly, and just, brushing him, getting all the dirt off of him. And my mind kicks in. So I don't know if you can relate. Do you have a busy mind where you start thinking about, I know women have this more so than men, where the mind just starts going, right? It's just like all of the things that we have to do, that we should do, that we were supposed to do, the grocery list, the dinner. And I often think of it kind of like that scene from Gilmore Girls, where Lorelai tries to write a letter, and it goes something like this. Okay, I'm writing a letter. I can't write a letter. Why can't I write a letter? I'm wearing a green dress. I wish I was wearing my blue dress. My blue dress is at the cleaners. The Germans wore gray. You wore blue. Casablanca. Casablanca is such a good movie. Casablanca. Why don't I drive a hybrid car? I should really drive a hybrid car. I should really take my bicycle to work. Bicycle. unicycle, unitard, hockey puck, rattlesnake, monkey, monkey underpants. So if you can relate, that is kind of how my brain works. It's all over the place. And seriously, here I am at the barn grooming BeauJo, and my brain is going monkey, monkey underpants. And as I'm doing this, he shifts, right? So he knows what's going on and he shifts. So I shift, right? So he takes a step right, I take a step right. He shifts again. I shift again, right? And then he shifts again. And I shift again. Like I am not getting it, what he's trying to tell me. So I stand up to go get another tool, and he shifts completely around where his hip, his butt all of a sudden checks my shoulder. So it's total hockey move. And he like just hit me right. I fly, hit the wall, right? I'm still on 2 feet, but I'm like, what the heck just happened? I'm like, okay, all right. So the rest of that evening, I was like, just watching him, watching his feet, making sure it was all good. So I was fully present the rest of that night. And at the time, that lesson was lost on me. But I got to tell you, it wasn't lost long because there were other times that I was there, letting the monkey, monkey underpants brain keep going. And he would do something that made me get fully present. And I was like, okay, this, I have to be, I don't have a choice. For my own safety, I have to be fully present when I'm in the stall with BeauJo, when I'm around BeauJo, when I'm around any horse. You have to be fully present. And it was a huge, huge, powerful lesson because how many times are we in a situation where we're not fully present and we lose out? How many times do you get in the car to go home or go somewhere and next thing you know, you're there and you've just lost 15, 20 minutes, right? How often are we letting that rattling of a brain go? And so that was really one of the most first and powerful lessons my BeauJo taught me is being present. Yeah, well, not only is it a safety issue, but it makes things a lot better. It makes it so much more worth it. Being around him is therapy to me. But being fully present and letting go of the tutus, the to-dos, the tutus, the to-dos, the monkey monkey underpants, letting go of what we should be doing, thinking about what we didn't do, letting go of all of that to be fully present in the moment. That is powerful. So that's one of the first things he taught me. And I got to tell, there's so much more, but like he also said, okay, communication is more than words. Communication is so much more than words. We know this, right? But horses know it better. They know your energy. When you walk in that stall, if you're having a good day, they know it. If you're having a bad day, they know it too. And let me tell you, you have a bad day and you get on the back of a horse. I can't tell you how many times BeauJo was like, you need to change. And it was a matter of, shifting direction and not doing what I asked him to do and, going fast. That was one of the biggest things that he would always do is when I'm having a bad day and my energy's just kind of like, he would go fast and force me to to check myself before I wrecked myself. Totally. So it was a matter of taking a breath, right? I can't tell you how many times I would just do that big. Next thing you know, he was doing it. He'd do that. And it was just, we would mirror each other's energy. And how often do you walk in a room and your energy influences other people? Or you walk in a room and the energy of the room influences you? Yeah, energy is something that you can use strategically to create influence, to stir the pot, right? Energy is an amazing way of nonverbal communication. Think of energy also as tonality. Have you ever heard or have you ever said it's not what you said, it's how you said it? Well, the how is your energy behind your words. So paying attention to your energy can improve your communication. Those two are directly related. So if you need to adjust your energy, take a breath, because that's what BeauJo and I did. That's what I learned. Taking a breath, adjust your energy. It's also, another thing he taught me was about consistency building confidence. So, I was very much a green writer when I met him. And still, I don't call myself a professional by any means, even after, 3 decades of writing and 22 years with him. I'm a hack. I'm a hack, but I loved every minute of it. Right. But the consistency. So when I connected the dots is when I was really good about going out there and doing lessons and getting on his back. And that was a consistency in our communication. Because getting on his back, I'm communicating with him. That it became easier so when I said to walk, to trot, to canter, to go right, to go left, to stop, to back up, whatever it was, the more I did it, the easier it got. And I can't tell you how many times, like I would go on vacation, right? Or the weather turned really, really bad. And so it might be a week or two before I got to see him. And then I get back on and something was off. We did not connect. So that consistency is powerful and translating that to anything we do in the world. I mean, if you're not consistent, like even at work, if you're not consistently showing up, people are going to think what's wrong with you. Right? Being consistent in the things that we do, where we show up, who we are, that consistency equates to who we are and how other people see us. So, consistency is pretty powerful. And the more consistent we are at anything, the more confident we are. So, those are directly related. So, that was a great lesson from BeauJo. Not to mention, this other thing is being aligned, right? When you are aligned, when you're in sync, so when we are consistent and we're in line with each other, we have great communication. And I got to tell you, with BeauJo, our first 18 months, it was rough. We were not aligned. We were not sure what the other one wanted. And we built that up over time with consistency and with just being together, right? And communicating and paying attention and being present and all of those things. So once we got aligned, I got to tell you, I'll never forget the first time writing him where everything was in sync. It was like it was like floating, literally, almost like that scene from Titanic. We're on the front of the boat, right? And the arms are extended and they're floating. And it was that truly was it, just cantering around. And he and I were just the movement, the flow, everything was together. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I remember the first time I cried because it was absolutely beautiful. And I hoped we'd have it again. And I gotta say, there were moments. We had moments of beauteousness together. And then there were moments of completely off because there's a lot of things you got to get going and get together for a horse. But, when we are aligned, it was wonderful. And it takes a lot of work to get aligned. But, and then when you connect that to the real world, being aligned, are you in alignment with who, are you showing up as you? Your core values. Early on with BeauJo, I had to create boundaries to say, no, I'm leaving work so that I can be with him. He is now one of my core values, time with him. He's now my family. Family will always be one of my number one core values. And I had to work around that to show up and be in alignment. Are you being in alignment with who you are? Are you leading from your truth? Because when you're not, you're out of sync and it just feels off. it feels off. Are you feeling off? Then check your core values, check your alignment. What are you believing? What are you saying? What are you thinking? Are you paying attention to all of that? Do a little inventory. That's what I often say with BeauJo is from the moment you get on him to the moment I got off, I was doing an inventory of all the different things that were going on and all the different ways of communicating. How are you showing up? Is it time to do an inventory? And so are you leading with your truth? And the last thing that I will share today, there's so much more that I can share, and I look forward to sharing more with you because these lessons are it's huge, huge when it comes, especially when it comes to communication. But let's talk about trust. Trust is something that when you all become aligned with your people, your person, your horse, when you create that trust that I got your back, oh, let me tell you. So with BeauJo, it took us probably about a year before we really developed trust. I trusted him and he trusted me. I'd never been around a horse that much before in my life, and he was only 3 years old. He had no idea for me as a human. And we were figuring it out together. We were learning from each other. We were growing together. And there are things he tested me and I tested him not knowingly, right? A lot of times. And there was this one time. So here we are in our uh, I was lunging him. So again, it was after work. So it was early evening, dinner time ish. And we were lunging, which lunging means that you have a horse on a long lead, right? And they're going in a circle. So you're standing at the center of the circle and they're going around you. And BeauJo and I had trouble with that. He was really, really good with the trainer, but he liked to test me. And of course, we hadn't built that trust yet. So my trainer explained it as what I now call, and he has always called, a come to Jesus moment, where we had to get to the point where we knew we absolutely had each other's back, and that BeauJo knew that I was his Jesus. Like I was his Lord and Savior. And the reason why he was here was because I was having a good day. Like I had to be the boss of the applesauce. And he had to know that I had his back and I wasn't going to mess around. There was no messing around. No way, no how. And so we had this moment where as I was lunging him, he tested me and he did some things that were dangerous because there was other people in the room. And when that danger hit, I got scared. That mama bear came out, right? That mama bear, because nobody was going to hurt my horse. Nobody was going to hurt me. And we weren't going to hurt anybody else in that arena. We were done. And I changed my tonality, my body posture. The mama bear came out and it took him, it was probably about a 2-minute exercise. And it was, oh my goodness. His eyes got big and that reality check of, oh snap, she's serious. She is my Jesus. She's my Lord and Savior. God help me. And a switch got flipped. And what happened between he and I moving forward was completely different. He knew from then on that I would always have his back. And because of the way he responded to me, I knew he would always have mine. And from that moment forward, I could tell anytime he was nervous about anything, I was so in tune to him that I would let him know it's okay. And there were times that that I would something would happen. He would get scared. I'd fall off. We'd trip. Something happened. I would be on the ground and he never left my side. He'd always have my back. And that trust is huge. Trust in the people that are around you. Do you have trust? It taught me that not only do I have to trust my BeauJo, but I have to trust the other people around me. I got a new husband, one I could trust, my Prince Charming. I surround myself with people who I can trust that have my back. Because when you have that, your safety, your security, your love, life becomes so much more worth it and pleasant and easy. Think about who you surround yourself with. This is personal leadership. Who do you have around you? Do you trust them? If you do, yes, high five, self high five. Ah. If you don't, think about surrounding yourself with people who you truly trust, who have your back. Let's recap. Okay, I know I talked with you a lot about these lessons, and I got to tell you, there's so much more, and I look forward to sharing more with you. But communication, when it comes to BeauJo, is being fully present, right? Being fully present, knowing that communication is more than words, that with consistency brings that confidence, that when you are aligned, right? That when you are aligned, you can lead your life, you can communicate effectively, and that trust allows you to be comfortable to communicate effectively. Trust is huge. So I hope you found value. Let me know if you have a horse story. I'd love to hear about it, right? Share with it as we post this. Comment. I want to hear about your horse story, your pet story. What did you learn from your pet? At least pause and take a moment. What is some amazing lesson, unexpected lesson you learned from your four-legged love? BeauJo's taught me so much, and so much so that I'm in the process of launching a book called Of Horse I Can, Lessons of Success Straight from the Horse's Mouth. And I look forward to sharing that with everyone because while I lost him a year ago this week, that he still is with me. He really is. In everything that I do, so many lessons that I move forward. And I am so blessed to have had 22 years with him. And at the foundation of everything he taught me was communication, being present, learning to trust, consistency, body language, energy, all of that. So much goodness, so much goodness. So that's a wrap for today's episode of Breaking Bad Communication. Thank you so much for being here and tuning in. But before we sign off, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like what you heard today, it resonates with you, or you know another horse person, please share them. Tell them they need to listen to this. Know this, that the quality of your life is in direct alignment with the quality of your communication. So as you head back out into the world, remember every conversation is your chance to shape your life and the lives around you. Whether it's a tough talk, casual chat, be clear, be intentional, and listen like it matters. The better you communicate, the more your life aligns with what you truly want. So go on, get out there, own your voice, use your words, make them count. Giddy up.